Machinima, a combination of words machine and cinema, used to describe the method of making animated film using software similar to that designed for making video and computer games.
Did you guys know machinima was a combination of words of machine and cinema? What? I never thought of that. Come on, no, okay, there's some other no's. Okay, it's not just me. It's not just, guys, it's not just me. It's not just me. I'm not an idiot here. That's crazy. Wow, never knew that.
This style of video production was pioneered by dedicated fans of the Quake series in what were originally called Quake movies. What was widely considered to be the first machinima ever created was the video Diary of a Camper in 1996 by a gaming clan called the Rangers. And although it was primitive, its creation inspired others to use video game engines as mediums for storytelling. The act of making machinima can be relatively simple and intuitive compared to other styles of filmmaking by reusing game assets, animations, and using a person's in-game avatar as an actor. Because of this, the machinima genre has become a popular avenue of self-expression across video game titles like Halo, Garry's Mod, Grand Theft Auto, and The Sims. All of these games and many others had bustling communities of filmmakers, but one stood out as being utterly unique.
There we go. There we go. Some WoW machinima, baby. That's what we're talking about. Like the Blind Samurai series. Okay, there we go. The internet's forgotten art form,
The
though.
year is
Okay.
2004. World of Warcraft was at the forefront of innovation not only in the gaming space, but for our entire modern culture as a whole. For many people, it was their first experience playing
Legend.
an MMO, and in turn, their first experience with the full potential of the internet and being able to connect with anyone and everyone all across the world. World of Warcraft was a trailblazer into our current internet-dominated culture. It was an adventure, a social platform, an addiction, and an unforgettable experience mixed all into one.
This guy's
I'm
locked
addicted to the
in.
game, but I'm not fully addicted. Like, I can quit whenever I want.
Not fully
This really
addicted.
kicks ass, doesn't it?
I could quit whenever I want.
For everyone at home,
Okay.
what is machinima?
Machinima is animated filmmaking within a virtual 3D real-time environment. Basically using computer games to record scenes as if you would with a camcorder.
You would actually set up, rather than playing the game and fighting and killing, you kind of set up the characters and record what they're doing, edit together, and create a movie around it?
Exactly. It's like setting up to use a term, a puppet show to a certain degree. Only you're using this really elaborate and engaging environment, this really visually rich environment to use to create a whole scene. And because it's using the game technology, you get the benefit from all the things that you can do with the game, which is create new characters, create whole new worlds, and things like that. It's really amazing stuff.
At the same time, people across the internet were discovering the filmmaking potential in virtual spaces like video games. And a game like World of Warcraft was the perfect space for machinima creation. It was a massive world with countless locations for filming, hundreds of character customization options, and an open world environment that allowed players to collaborate with like-minded artists. Because World of Warcraft is a video game first and foremost, there are some challenges players must work around in order to make a film within the game.
Other players,
Like
yeah.
other players standing in your shot
You're ruining
or
my
not
shot.
being a high enough level to film in certain zones.
I've actually dealt with this on like the Blind Samurai series or the Last Monk series. I'm like trying to make a scene real epic, like RP walking or something, and then there'll be a group that just like runs right through me, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that's way different than I thought. Obviously, it's not your video game, right? So it's not your problem. It's like you're filming in a public space kind of a deal, right? So that's just how it goes. But yeah, I've actually felt this before many times.
Regardless, using the world of Azeroth to tell stories was an effective tool, and the rise of World of Warcraft's popularity coincided with the rise of the internet and popular video sharing websites. Before YouTube, there was a site called Warcraft Movies, which was created in 2004.
Best
According
website,
to the
man.
website's timeline, the first Warcraft movie uploaded to the site is a PvP montage from WoW's beta.
Let's
Set
go.
to the insane lineup of songs from the Braveheart soundtrack, Stone Sour, Marilyn Manson, and The Offspring.
Let's go.
But I wouldn't consider it a machinima, as there really isn't any story being told
Yeah,
here.
true.
The next video would be in December of 2004, called I Surrender, which is a music video love story set to Celine Dion's song of the same name. This pixelated masterpiece seemed to have touched the hearts of many, with comments on the site saying things like,
Aw, nice. Nice. This is my first rating and comment ever. That was a nice movie thing,
Very
man.
nice.
Hey, how do you hide the chat bar thing and the thing with the skills on it? You hit everything.
Alt Z,
How?
man. Alt Z.
Not entirely
Yeah.
clear how the guy died indeed, but still, the part where you saw her first and then the same picture without her later just made me feel sad.
OMFG, I don't know either to throw up because of all the fucking spinning or cry laughing. GG. Fuck, that music sucks!
I watched it
Yeah,
again and I
commentators,
finally
man.
understand the part where he's in the water. He jumps, and when you see him in the water, he's a spirit. Once again, I nearly cried. This
Damn.
really makes you think about life and death and how unfair it all is.
Damn, that's deep. Okay.
World of Warcraft and video sharing websites like Warcraft Movies and eventually YouTube grew parallel with the game. This is one of the many reasons why Machinima
classic.
became a significant part of the game's culture, and players use the game as a canvas to make narrative series, music videos, dramas, sketches, and really anything else that could come to mind. Also, during these early days of the internet, where the quality of content wasn't particularly high,
Legendary.
one of the advantages Machinima had is its relative high quality, and it was far easier to create and less of a time investment. Furthermore, many people formed a deep connection with these videos, not just because they were funny videos online. They were relatable because they were created in Azeroth, and viewers were living the experience of being in that world.
Hey, this guy's got a certain appeal, so I'll tell you what, noob, I'll make you a deal. You beat me, and I'll give you all my gear.
You can't trade it as BOP actually, but yeah. Okay. You could try.
The popularity of WoW Machinima was recognized by Blizzard during the first ever BlizzCon. In this very first iteration of the convention, attendees could enjoy lots and lots of alcohol, play StarCraft Ghost, which would later be cancelled, play the newly announced Burning Crusade expansion, where one could play the new horde race, the Blood Elves.
Guess that means more guys playing girls, yeah?
And during the initial announcement, the Alliance race, the Draenei, was not made known to the public.
2 new races, the Blood Elves of Quel'Thalas.
And the second race?
Well, the second race, that was close. That was good. That was good.
That was close. It was?
You almost got it out.
Pandarians?
There was also a climbing wall, a jousting area, ping pong, and a Q&A with developers and writers.
This question's kind of inevitable. I know you probably don't want to address it, but why are there 2 Hakars in Warcraft lore?
Did Richard Knack ask you to ask that? Did he roll me on that?
I didn't even know that.
I'll roll that out. I'll let the guys off the hook. The answer is, my bad.
Love it.
Battlegrounds, a Dota tournament where you could win an MP3 player, voice impressions,
What ho? Stop clicking rage. Remove.
and most importantly, Jonathan Davis from Korn made an appearance. But the event we'll be focusing on in this video is the first ever WoW movie contest held at BlizzCon. This movie contest
I miss
was
BlizzCon
sponsored
so
by
much, man.
Nvidia and Asus, and 5 winners of the contest would be credited by their in-game names and the guild they were a part of. All 5 of these winning Machinima films were premiered at BlizzCon, the first one being Condemnation, a story about a group of guild members rescuing a lost gnome in Duskwood.
You pathetic whelps! You think you can save your town with the help of an inept gnome?
I think we may have located the source of Ticket's disappearance.
Another was called Rise of the Living Dead, where a group of
What is she
undead
doing?
attack Alliance
Okay.
players in the Deep Run tram.
Okay.
I will taste your flesh.
There was also Wish Upon a Paladin, where a paladin is transported into a genie's bottle.
I haven't seen any of
I
these.
wish my gear wasn't so bound to me.
That is a good wish. That was a very good wish.
Okay, that's
Another
funny.
was called Return, a story of a soldier returning from war only to find his home destroyed. This is an important one that we'll be talking about extensively later in the video.
Guys, I haven't seen a single one of those. Am I missing out on some great WoW lore here, or are these kind of unknown? Have you guys seen any of these? Me neither. Yes. Oh yes. I feel like I've seen a lot of like the WoW classic machinimas, but I haven't seen any of these. Maybe I'm trolling.
You there, young man. How is the road to Stromgarde?
What do you mean, old man? The road is as it always is. Do you not know the way?
I know my way well enough, lad.
And lastly, there was Xinrath, the movie.
How do I know I can trust you?
Trust me? Do you know who I am? I am.
Okay. Xinrath the movie was created by Clint Hackelman, online name Mindflame, and his brother and guildmates. Clint helped write the script, voice act, and made the original score for the film, and his brother did the editing. Out of the 5 winners of the BlizzCon 2005 movie contest, this one was definitely the most technically impressive and filled with clever shots.
Gotta think of something
I know why I won. Unbelievable.
What is these? You're getting an ass kicking.
Hey, how's it going?
Out of the way!
Coming through.
Hey, dragon! Tell your mother breaks were delicious.
You look at those videos now, the quality really isn't that great. In some of the shots anyway, you know, it's like we were using a blue sky to composite things, you know.
Okay, I'm gonna pause this real quick. Xinrath the movie, is this what it is? So it's 10 minutes long. It has 600,000 views. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. I might have to give it a look. I've seen like Jimmy Warcraft movie or story. It's 8.7 million, right? 8.7. There's a difference on the scale of these things. What are some other like absolute classics? Illegal Danish? Wait, have I seen that? Tales of the Past 3. So Illegal Danish, 800K. A lot of you guys said that though. So a ton of you guys have seen this. I don't think I've seen this. It's 20 minutes long. I'm trying to think. The Warcraft that we play. Like I've seen this. 18 million. Like the scale of these things are just like, yeah, completely different. Yeah, obviously I've seen all the PvP stuff. Has a PvP guy, like the Vertiny, you know, movies and stuff like that. I'm trying to think what other ones that are just like they were just super massive at the time. Anyway.
Point the camera at the sky so that you could composite something in. And there were some really basic techniques before Model Viewer came into existence.
Model Viewer, yeah.
WoW Model Viewer is an open source program created by UFOZ and Dargic in June of 2005, and it would change the WoW Machinima landscape forever. The program was relatively simple. It would search through your game's client and allow users to see every model, character, weapon, and spell graphic in the game. This completely revolutionized how WoW Machinima was made. No longer were machinima artists bound to the confines of the game's limits. Now they could create practically whatever they wanted by filming an in-game background and then compositing a character over it.
Dude, I edited my own YouTube videos for many, many years, and I use that Model Viewer every single day to make a thumbnail because I wanted to like get my character cut out just right, and eventually I figured out I think Pleb Central taught me that you could download Model Viewer, and then like I downloaded it. I'm just like, this is so much easier. So I use that program every day for like years and years and years and years until I got a YouTube editor. And I'm sure my YouTube editor now uses it instead. That thing owns, bro. You don't have to get like the perfect shot. You just like put in everything that you want and you're locked and dialed, you know?
It's coupled with people using another program called WoW Map Viewer or creating their own personal servers to do whatever they wanted in the world, allowed artists to push the limits of filmmaking in Azeroth. WoW Model Viewer allows artists to make a type of machinima that is incredibly unique compared to how machinima was made in other games. The limitations of making a film in a video game were heavily subdued, and now only an artist's imagination was the limit to what they could create. Mindflame and friends would put this to the test with their next machinima, created for another Blizzard movie contest in collaboration with Xfire. This video includes almost 100 player characters, 10 voice actors, an original score of 15 tracks, and over 1,500 hours of work.
Wow.
It is the illegal Danish Super Snacks.
So you guys said that, yeah.
I'm out of here.
I and many others are of the personal belief that the illegal Danish is the best machinima ever made. While many...
Okay, I need to see this then. The best machinima ever made. Everyone in the chat was spamming it. It gets mentioned a minute later. How have I not seen this? Maybe I have and forgot, but if it's so good, why would I forget? I have so many questions.
Sections are filmed in-game. The scenes filmed using WoW Model Viewer highlight the potential of the program by mixing objects and characters and repurposing a model's use into something wholly different that was never intended by the developers. For example, we can look at the main antagonist of the video, who is made up of a gnome mech, a gnomish gear repurposed to look like a Gatling gun, a dwarf model head, and glasses that have this graphic from the Deep Run tram overlaid onto them. This is just an example that with a little bit of creativity, a machinima artist can combine an amalgamation of assets to make practically whatever they desired. And the illegal Danish also wasn't just technically impressive, it was also the most quotable machinima in all of Warcraft history.
So there I was, in the Silithus Desert.
Wait, is that where Barney got the "so there I was"? Or not Barney, who uses that? Herb Vendor. Is that where Herb Vendor got the "so there I was"? Yes? Okay. I know "so there I was" from Herb Vendor.
There's an imposter amongst us.
Okay, I know
and
that
he
quote too.
touched my ass.
Okay, bro.
Finally made it to South Shore Beach, and let me tell you, it is awesome!
Dude, what?
This is not the time for dwarven river dancing.
Are those the pants?
Pants?
The healing pants?
This film was wildly popular, gaining over 700,000 views on Warcraft movies alone, and the second illegal Danish movie, Illegal Danish: Escape from Orgrimmar, released 2 years later and garnered 500,000 views in the first 24 hours. And the popularity of Mindflame's work allowed him to make content creation his full-time job, which was unheard of at the time. One of the main methods of monetization for his work was selling the original music created for his videos on iTunes.
You got to play WoW. You got to play WoW. You got to play WoW. You got to play every day.
But because of the obtuse legality of monetizing films made within a copywritten video game, Clint was severely restrained on developing other revenue streams when making content online, but he was motivated to make it work.
And I wanted to do it legally, so I spent quite a few years just going around the country, meeting up with attorneys and video game developers, and worked with Henry Lowood at Stanford University to gather together a bunch of game developers to put together a prototype of a machinima licensing agreement that everybody could use, and kind of came to this agreement between the game developers that we won't sue you. That's what they told us. They're like, well, we won't sue you, but you still can't profit. There were times to where we had opportunities to work with major networks to produce machinima for cable television. They would tell me, oh yeah, we'll take care of the licensing. Well, when it came down to starting production, no one could get the licensing. So, you know, Cartoon Network, MTV, they just couldn't do it. They could not get any of these game developers.
Wow, I never knew that.
Allow them to create a show based on their video games.
Dang, wow, I never knew that. That's how it was in the early days. That's crazy. So for streamers, it was like kind of similar. The early days of streaming, there was basically like no money in it. It was more of a passion thing, and you were fully supported through people like donating. Most people didn't have sub buttons at all on the entire website. There was like a couple people, right? And then brand deals weren't really a thing. It was literally you just did it because you wanted to, and then you might get some donations, and like that was kind of it. And then obviously, I think when did Twitch Prime and gifted subs come out? Like 2017, 28. So like 5, 6, 7 years later, it started kind of becoming a thing. And then the people that were just doing it because they wanted to were in the right spot at the right time, right? So it's like kind of a similar thing. Yeah, I've seen Jimmy, yeah.
What the fuck? Mindflame continued to create WoW Machinima until the Cataclysm expansion, and during his career, he branched off and created his own website, did live streaming and Let's Plays, and nowadays, he has taken a break from creating content online and is learning to play Christmas songs on the ukulele.
Cool. Nice.
Let's talk about WoW movie contests again. There were a lot of these movie contests over the years, and were the reason why a lot of the most beloved Machinima productions were ever even created. During this time, WoW Machinima was seen as an emerging technology and a new frontier of filmmaking for your average person, and there was a buzz in the air to support and pursue this new medium.
Sick. Yeah, I remember this. It was like high school days.
Easily, the most iconic contest was the Rogues Do It From Behind music video
I've seen this
contest.
one. Rogues Do It From Behind,
sponsored
yeah.
by Comcast. This was a song made by the Elite Taran Chieftains, a metal band composed of Blizzard employees. ETC perfectly frames that this was a different era in the history of Blizzard with their song Rogues Do It From Behind, which has
crazy.
iconic lines like, "Rogues do it where the sun don't shine."
Okay.
Do it where the sun don't shine.
Gonna creep inside your back door.
Gonna creep inside your back door.
Bro, can you imagine releasing this today? Like, there is no way this ever gets approved. 0% chance ever. Like, dude, like the internet 10, 15 years ago, completely different place. Oh my God. Holy crap.
And
I remember this going
Call
hard
Me
though.
Ice-T, Original Gangster.
Call me Ice-T, original gangster.
I thought this was so
contest
cool.
was actually
Yeah.
split between US and EU. For the US, there were 3 winners, all of them winning an iPod with 8 gigabytes of storage.
Wow.
The EU winner was a 15-year-old boy who won a surround sound audio system. Now, typically these contests were a collaboration effort between Blizzard and other companies like Comcast or Alienware.
So to touch on like early WoW, we talked about streaming Machinima. To touch on early WoW esports, it was very similar. So esport brands wouldn't pay their players. They instead would pay for the hotel and the flight to get to the LAN event. And then if the player ended up winning, the esport organization would like take half their winnings or sometimes all of their winnings. So the esport org is like, oh, let's fly out a bunch of players, see if they can win for us, and then we'll take the money. And the players would sometimes then get like a free mouse pad in return or like a free headset and keyboard. That was their payment, and they would get free travel sometimes, but they weren't on any type of payment structure. That was like early esports. It was like that for so many years until people started realizing like, wait a minute, this is a complete and utter scam for all of us. And then it slowly started changing. And now in 2025, esports is actually still in a weird spot where a lot of organizations are struggling to try to figure out monetization. There's like, I don't know how like public news this is, but I'm sure any of you that are like in the industry know this. There are not many esports orgs that are actually profitable. Like most of them are losing money. Like most of them are VC funded, and then they're just burning money each month, and then they run out of money, and then they're just kind of like, that's 2025. That's today. They're still trying to figure out how to like make money from this whole thing, which is really interesting.
In 2006, they collaborated with Xfire to make a film contest with $26,000 worth of prizes. The winners of the contest had their films premiered at Stanford University.
Stanford? Okay.
Winners won things like a GeForce 7900 graphics card and an Athlon VX processor.
Wow.
The person that won first place got a $5,000 PC. That film in particular was Edge of Remorse. But not all iconic machinimas were made for movie contests. Others were simply works of
I have to move my character in game. Okay,
pure
there we go.
passion.
That was sick.
Tales of the Past is the most ambitious WoW Machinima series ever made. This is a 3-part series which is almost 2 hours and 30 minutes long and includes a complex storyline that intertwines with Warcraft lore, has large-scale battles acted out by players, and has surprisingly well-made anime combat fighting scenes.
I feel like I've seen this. I've seen this, but it's been a long time. This would probably be worth a rewatch.
These 3 films are created on the Dune Mall EU server.
Yeah, Tales of the Past. So 6 million. So I guess I'm a normie. I've seen all the stuff with like more than 5 million views, and I haven't seen a lot of the stuff with like less than 1 million. When it comes to WoW on a broad scale, I kind of am a normie because I spent my entire WoW career just playing competitive PvP, which means doing nothing except pressing that Q button over and 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 over, like dueling over and over and over and over. Like I never even alt-tabbed, bro. I was just in the game playing for the last 20 years. So a lot of this, unless it went super viral, I kind of missed it, right? Because I was just gaming, arenas, you know, RBGs, everything, like solid, like every day, right?
Nation of over 1,000 players and more than 20 voice actors. Some better than others.
Demons have controlled us. The Alliance has ordered us around. This time, we must stand alone.
Yimmer, we have to get out of here. Use the teleport now.
No, Blazer. I mustn't live.
What are you talking about?
It will all be explained.
Oh no!
Here. The book and the orb are in your backpack.
The final battle scene in Tales of the Past 2 required over 500 players from both factions, more than 10 raid leaders coordinating over Ventrilo, and kill squads of players that would camp trolls trying to interfere with the film's production.
That's really cool. Wow.
And this whole server-wide collaboration crashed the server multiple times.
No.
The third film, Tales of the Past 3, has been viewed on Warcraft movies over 6 million times, making it the #1 viewed machinima on the site.
Wow.
A lot of the scenes, the combat ones especially, hold up even to this day and are just an incredible, over-the-top spectacle of machinima creation.
I might have to rewatch
One of the
this
things
for
I
sure.
appreciate
Yeah.
most in these films is the clever use of animations. Another advantage World of Warcraft machinimators have is a wide selection of emotes to use. In WoW Model Viewer, you can combine different emotes together and have the bottom half of a model doing one emote and have the top half doing another. In Tales of the Past, they use this to their advantage by combining multiple emotes together to create something totally unintended, which I think is super creative and requires a lot of out-of-the-box thinking.
Sick.
You can tell these films
That's
were made with a
dope.
passion. First, because of the sheer amount of effort put into it, and second, because of all the copyrighted music added to plenty of the scenes. Like, we have almost all of Hans Zimmer's entire discography, the Naruto soundtrack, Nightwish, the Metal Gear Solid 3 soundtrack, and the final battle scene ends with Trust Company's downfall.
Damn! That, dude, what? It's like a straight up anime.
But Tales of the Past has earned its spot as one of the best machinima projects ever created, not only for its technical prowess, but also the server-wide collaboration that was required and the community it fostered. And yeah, the banger soundtrack of badass songs.
Alright, here we go.
为广大玩家造天亮。
要得，为了早日开放巫妖王，我们玩家支持你。
开服就送4周年熊宝宝
，30哥威武，
保证没有外挂。
30哥
Get rid of the
爆料，
boss.
3通线路。
30哥求交往。
Okay.
Meanwhile, in China, a machinima was released that would transcend its World of Warcraft audience. The film, War of Internet Addiction, is a Chinese anti-censorship film made by a user named Corndog. It was uploaded January 21st, 2010, and used World of Warcraft as a framing device for the difficulties Chinese players of World of Warcraft were facing.
世风日下，我是看在眼里，疼在蛋上啊！小号代练，装备代打，荣誉代刷，当老板号都不用自己上。结果呢？
乘务，终于拿到乘务了。班长，对不起啊，没准备那么多钱。
喊看你妹去偷水产之水回来开巫妖王，都几个月了，屁都没得一个。
The big thing that separates how the West plays World of Warcraft compared to China is that Chinese servers are not hosted by Blizzard. It's third-party companies that host official Chinese World of Warcraft servers.
Oh, interesting.
The Shanghai-based game operator called The Nine was given exclusive rights to host the game. That is until April 2009, when the license was moved to NetEase, so Blizzard could get a higher cut of royalties. This transition resulted in a rocky game experience for Chinese players. Additionally, the government organizations, the General Administration of Press and Publication, and the Ministry of Culture play an important role in the monetization and the censorship of the game. One of the most glaring instances of censorship is the removal of anything related to death, skulls, and bones. One of the more hilarious methods of censorship found within the alternate Chinese World of Warcraft client are all of these grim assets simply being turned into loaves of bread.
Yeah,
all
I've seen
that is to
videos
say,
on that before.
when the
That's
World
crazy.
of Warcraft expansion, Wrath of the Lich King, came out, there was a lot of censorship that needed to be done.
Yeah.
So much so, the expansion was released in the West on November 13th of 2008, and it wouldn't be released in mainland China until August 31st of 2010. The Machinima, The War of Internet Addiction, was released between these two dates and voiced the frustration of Chinese players who loved World of Warcraft but were unable to play the new expansion because of their government censorship laws and because of the bureaucratic chaos of third-party companies and government organizations all trying to profit and control the operation of this live service game.
I don't fully understand this at all. From a video I watched in the past, the way they explained it was the bones and undead nature in Chinese culture is very taboo. So to like mention death or to even mention to have like skulls and to have like bones, it's like just taboo in their culture. So it was like less about censorship and more about just how the culture ran. I don't know. I don't know. Anyone can maybe confirm or deny in the chat. But I find that just fascinating because it's just like when I first figured that out like a couple of years ago, I was just like, what? Like that's just a very mind-blowing thing coming from the West, right? It's about money too. It's about it is censorship. They're terrified of ghosts. It's not taboo. It's forbidden. Yeah, I don't know if anyone in the chat knows more than I do, but it's really interesting.
Even to this day, Chinese players have to deal with this negotiation chaos, and in January of 2023, the game servers were closed entirely after a failed negotiation between NetEase and Blizzard, and were only recently reinstated on August 1st, 2024. Additionally, the War of Internet Addiction also criticizes the Green Dam Youth Escort, which is a mandatory software installed on computers that censored online content and harvested data from users. During this time, the concept of internet addiction in the youth was a hot topic in China. In July of 2008, the state-ran television channel Chinese Central Television premiered a special about a man named Dr. Yang, who believed a cure for internet addiction was the practice of electroconvulsive shock therapy, also known as CET. Families would spend around $800 per month for their children to be treated for their internet addiction with psychiatric medication and ECT.
What?
The War of Internet Addiction also heavily criticized this method of treatment, and the film's cinematic finish ends with all of the WoW players across China summoning a giant spirit bomb to defeat the symbolic version of Dr. Yang.
Wow. Dang, that's crazy.
The War of Internet
Wow.
Addiction was a wildly popular machinima in China that reached an audience who were not even familiar with World of Warcraft, but Chinese internet users at large could connect with the criticisms the film provided.
被封号的危险去美服、欧服，他们骂我们是金币农民，我们顶着上万的延迟去台服，他们说我们是大陆蝗虫，这些何其贬低的称谓，我们都在默默的承受。我们凭什么就不能拥有每小时4毛钱的廉价娱乐？就凭我在国服，凭我是国服的魔兽玩家吗？
And although it was censored on various websites, its popularity could not be contained, and would later win the Best Video Award at the Tudo Film Awards. The Machinima's Wikipedia page cites that the video was even more popular than James Cameron's Avatar during that year, but there really isn't any source to this claim. But regardless, I think it shows the popularity of the film in mainland China. The War of Internet Addiction showcases the possibilities of machinima. The very game Chinese players are passionate about also gives them the tools to articulate their struggles in an entertaining manner in a filmmaking style that is not as artistically intensive as something like traditional animation. That is to say, the rudimentary art form of machinima can be used to bring attention to the voices of the powerless with simple yet effective storytelling. And I think the War of Internet Addiction should be recognized by the Warcraft machinima community at large for its cultural significance.
Never knew that existed. That's super enlightening. Crazy.
A college student studying history is playing World of Warcraft into the wee hours of the night. In his free time, he participates in his school's choir and has a passion for storytelling. A passion that he explores by making short films within his favorite game. His name is Brandon Dennis, online name Oxhorn, and creates multiple films for machinima movie contests and simply for his own personal enjoyment. Some of his films would win awards at these contests and were relatively popular at the time. But in 2007, he would upload an innocuous little short music video parody, think nothing of it and go to bed, not knowing that he had just created one of the most popular machinimas to ever be uploaded on YouTube.
Is it the WoW that we play? Or what is it? Okay, yeah.
Oxhorn's parody song Raffle
okay,
has almost 18 million views on
18
YouTube.
million. So I've seen this one, obviously. That's crazy. Man, the internet was just so different back then. Like this, like certain videos would just blast to the damn moon, man. Like, what? Could you imagine uploading Raffle Mao today? Like, it's just it's completely different space, man.
Making it the second most popular WoW machinima on YouTube. And while I love the video and find it very nostalgic, I'm not really sure why it's so popular.
Yeah, exactly.
If I had to guess, it's because non-WoW players and children enjoy it. It's like the World of Warcraft version of the Duck song, pretty much. Oxhorn was one of the most popular and consistent WoW machinima creators, making multiple shorts, movies, and songs.
Stay away from those crooked elves that look like women and they smell like hell. So if you would take my sound advice, keep a distance of at least 10 feet.
One of my favorite pieces of Oxhorn's work is his Inventing Swear Words series. The series' namesake is based off the invented vocabulary of swear words used throughout the series.
I think we need a new swear word to add to our repertoire. I've been mulling it around a bit and I've come up with Bloit.
Bloit?
Bloit. It's not bad.
Why Bloit? It does sound too much like Blit, one of the ones we made up last time.
In the early stages of Oxhorn's machinima career, he made videos on the side while working a bloiting Amazon job editing spreadsheets. But one day, he got an offer that he could not refuse.
Someone reached out to me while I was working at Amazon and they said, "Hey Oxhorn, I love all your videos. If you fly to San Francisco, we'll give you a job and pay you like 3 times what you're making now to make movies for us." And I'm like,
"Who's that?"
WeGame. And they were developing a software that could hook into the video game that you're playing, allowing you to either record video game footage to your hard drive or allow you to publish it to their website.
Oxhorn was hired by WeGame to simply make the videos he was already making and upload them to WeGame to attract more users to the site. And at first, It was amazing. A culture of young, upstart creatives pushing to make something big with an endless hunger for success.
Does anyone remember Wii Game? Am I the only one that does? Like, I don't remember this at all. Wii Game? I guess it died pretty quick because I don't remember it. No, okay, everyone's saying no.
But as time passed, reality started to set in.
Like, the founder of the company was 19 years old, okay?
Oh, wow.
I was older than him when I went to go work for him. And we all loved games, and he thought that he could take on YouTube, and we tried, all right? This was 2007, 2008. I fly down to San Francisco. Man, we tried hard. It was just like, I've never been in a work culture like that since. And it was one of the best experiences of my life. But then, of course, the housing crisis of 2008 happens. All of his investors pull out, and suddenly we're stuck in downtown San Francisco with this office that's like $200,000 a month in rent, with a startup company that's starting to take off. You know, it's starting to look good, but absolutely no fuel left in the fire.
Despite the tribulations Oxhorn faced, he moved back to his hometown and continued to make WoW Machinima. And he also sold merch, sold his original music on iTunes, had a beard care website, published a book, and had a weekly live stream. But at the end of the day, Oxhorn needed to support his family, and World of Warcraft Machinima just wasn't paying the bills. On July 17th, 2013, Oxhorn uploaded his last WoW Machinima, called Into the Tin. But that isn't the end of Oxhorn's content creation online. As of now, he has a wildly popular Fallout lore YouTube channel. So I tip my hat, not only to a creator who inspired me to get into WoW Machinima, but also a fellow lore YouTuber.
What? What? That's crazy. I've probably seen some of his videos because I was on a Fallout kick like last year, and I did a Fallout 4 playthrough in one of the DLCs, and I was looking up a bunch of Fallout stuff, and all of these recommended videos started coming up, and YouTube shorts of like Fallout this and that, tips and tricks you may never have known, and I've probably seen these. That's crazy. I didn't know that was the same guy.
Now, let's talk about Blood Elf rap music.
He's the biggest Fallout creator.
My name is who? My name is
Nim,
my name
of
is
course.
Nim, baby.
Starting in the Burning
Nim.
Crusade, a phenomenon I will describe as Blood Elf rap music permeated through the World of Warcraft community. The figurehead of these World of Warcraft Blood Elf rap music videos was the warlock named Nim.
Alright, now loot it. Just loot it.
The popularity of Nim's music and Blood Elf rap parodies are truly a product of their time. This is when World of Warcraft was at its peak cultural relevance, and the only time in our universe where WoW rap music videos aren't instantly dismissed as being cringe. And let me be clear, they are a bit cringe, but these videos have such blatant campiness that it just puts a smile on my face. So the Blood Elf rap warlock named Nim was a cornerstone to this subculture and kept releasing hit after hit.
Do I look like a vending machine? No, I'm a fireball and MAGE.
Especially as a mage.
Heroic more than you can handle, so let's do it like a druid in the general channel.
Okay, wow, alright.
Warcraft stars full of epics in every set of dogs.
Legendary videos
Probably my favorite Nim song is Death Knight Spree, a parody of Eminem's Without Me.
But this is still the game for me, making Machinima Warcraft movies. But does Blizzard really need more money? And we're about to see a Death Knight Spree.
And it's my favorite because I get to dive into World of Warcraft Machinima diss track drama. And first, we'll review the bar that is dissing a notorious user on Warcraft movies.
Warcraft movies. I see something that's scary. Someone claiming he's a shaman and killing my brainwaves. Horrible. Looks like he smells like he needs a bath. Just that fact is enough cause for me to harass.
This is about the Warcraft movie user named Dimmers, and he is the most underrated troll in the history of the World of Warcraft community.
This disaster. Movie catastrophe. Then he made about 7 more vids for the world to see. I am a shaman. Conjuring movie. Conjuring movie. Double platinum.
He made a series of videos called I'm a insert class name here, and they're the most low effort shit posts that seemed
rating 1.9, 1.8, 2.2, 1.5, but they all have 100,000 views, dude. What is going on here? What is happening? Like, what?
To be lost the time.
Why are people watching if they hate it?
I'm a rogue. I'm a mage.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing these.
Conjuring. I'm a warlock and I'm gonna summon someone. Channeling demonic powers in my pants. Channeling.
Okay, dude, yeah.
Mom, what are you doing here? I didn't mean to summon you.
What am I doing here? I was busy shopping. Can you stop pretending to be a warlock and get off that computer?
The video referenced in this diss track is Dimmer's most popular video, I'm a Shaman, which achieved double platinum status on
internet is just
Warcraft
different,
movies,
guys. It's just
meaning
different.
it had 200,000 downloads.
I'm a shaman. A shaman. Oh, electricity. Boom. Boom.
Despite this video's popularity, people hated this guy.
Yeah.
You suck. I lolled my ass off with your games.
My eyes bleed. My ears bleed. P.S. You're
my God.
Damn.
Wow.
Not funny nor entertaining.
What's crazy is he's getting hundreds of thousands of views on every upload, and everyone's hate commenting, hate watching, hate viewing, hate downloading. Like, it's just a mind-blowing concept.
You need to die
OG
in a
rage
fire.
bait? Yeah,
the
pretty
most
much,
creepy
yeah.
movie I've ever seen. OMG, YouTube emos are invading Warcraft movies. Run!
The next creator's Nim disses goes as follows.
But Nim's back, fixing to ensure that movie's never seen again, and then again it's better than How to Paladin when you kick it up to warp speed and just show me spin. What's interesting, Jimmy's movie in the contest thing was funny but infringing on the Professor Plum ring.
The latter reference is to
Damn.
Jimmy, the World of Warcraft story.
Bro, I didn't know the lore behind the Nim raps. That actually goes kind of hard.
A popular
Holy
machinima
crap.
where he describes epics
Jeez.
as Professor Plums.
Epic mage ring. And hell yes, baby, I'm all over the Professor Plums. That's a clue reference to purple.
The other reference is to a popular series at the time called How to Paladin, which all it was sped up PvP clips with migraine-inducing music.
Yeah.
This has almost 200k views on YouTube.
How
But
does...
Nim wasn't
yeah,
the
that's
only
crazy.
World of Warcraft rap artist either. Who could forget artists like Summer Gale?
You smile and say, ni hao, and pump some gold.
Ni hao.
That's my fur bowl.
Or the
Ni hao.
swag of the Druid Boys?
Boy up in this hoe, watch me switch ones, watch me go.
And we can't forget the slick bars of Gigi, aka PvP Girl.
I don't know if I've ever seen this. That's...
Oh yeah, also Gigi, aka PvP Girl, had an app that you could buy on the App Store.
Well, I have an iPhone app featuring 13 of your favorite PvP girl songs, including many of the collabs that you've heard and loved over the past couple years, as well as a chat feature which allows you guys to chat with the other fans as well as myself. All of this for only $2.99.
Wow,
Now, I could talk
what a
about WoW
deal.
Machinima music
my
videos
gosh.
all day, but let me just talk about some of my favorites. We gotta talk about Ulduar by Summergale and Cranius, which is just such an earworm of a song.
You know, I wonder how successful something like that was. I didn't know, but who was it that created one of those first WoW leveling guides? I think I'm thinking of Joanna, which, by the way, RIP Joanna. But they sold the leveling guide for, what was it, like $50 at the time? And, you know, I never really thought about it. And then someone in my chat from like a year or two ago told me that Joanna sold like millions of these things, or maybe not millions, like hundreds of thousands, which turned into like millions of dollars. And I'm just like, holy like, I didn't even realize. No, IRL, guys, I'm not talking gold here. I'm not talking gold here. Who's buying that? Everyone was buying that back in the day. I don't think I ever actually had the leveling guide, but I knew about it and I wanted it, but I was like 12 years old. Obviously couldn't afford the $50 guide, but that was crazy. I was like, I didn't even know. So anyway, something like that, like we all kind of laugh, but I wonder if she randomly sold like 500,000 of those things. Like, I don't, who knows? It's like kind of nuts. Ulduar. I remember this. Dude,
the
that
thing
went
I
hard.
love most
That
about
went
this
hard.
video is the editing and the effects. It's just so incredibly 2009 with its style. It's like a Lady Gaga music video with a Warcraft sheen over it. And the actual
Yeah, that went
subject
hard.
matter of the song is about, well, let me just read you the description. Ulduar has a bit of a Romeo and Juliet theme, where the PvEer, sung by Summergale, is dating the PvPer, sung by Cranius. He's a punk and a bit of a rebel. She's a highly skilled and geared raider. She wants to bring him along to her playground of choice, the newest, most challenging raid instance. He wants nothing to do with it, and wants to show her the dark side of PvP.
Does this remind you guys of anything? Like, does this remind you guys of anything? Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay.
Another favorite of mine is Honor Kills. This is by the Azerothian 6, a parody of the real rap group D12.
I'm sick of all this raiding, we'll screw arena raiding, but nothing compares to pursuing all these honor kills.
Yeah, I remember this too.
The best of the best. We got Nim, we got Gigi, aka PvP Girl, we got Decision, Abandonation, Dominion, and Red Eye.
So crit, come on crit. I said come on crit, everybody in War Song just laugh a bit.
And the reason why I love this song is not only because it's a guilty pleasure track, but it's also like really well edited while simultaneously being utterly ridiculous and a thing that could only exist in 2009. With its World of Warcraft characters superimposed into like these badass gangsta graffiti-filled subway stations, walking through Grand Theft Auto 4 skylines and futuristic bathroom peep shows.
What?
It's beautiful work. And lastly, I just gotta mention Jace Hall's I Play WoW. Another
like
just
I've seen this one too.
Epic WoW parody with scenes that cannot be shown on modern YouTube. Jace Hall is just wearing a shirt that says gamer and the best line ever uttered in a WoW parody song. And while people like to hate and discriminate and be mean, in my world we work together to defeat the Lich King. Doesn't matter if you're black, white, ugly, or fat. Everybody be kicking booty in the World of Warcraft. And all of these WoW music creators have disappeared off the face of the internet for the most part. The only creator that I know of that is still active is Charm, and you gotta respect maintaining that passion for over 17 years. Other than that,
legend.
Gigi, aka PvP Girl, is also active and is now posting anti-Zionist documentaries on her World of Warcraft music video parody channel.
Okay.
Let's jump all the way back to the first ever BlizzCon movie contest. One of the winners of the contest was the movie called Return, created by Taryn Gregory and Ezra Ferguson. Taryn Gregory was studying video production and film at the University of Washington at the time, and it clearly shows, as one of the things that this movie excels at compared to the other winners of the competition is its use of visual language and shot composition. In fact, it was so apparent that at E3 2006, he met with Blizzard employees who asked him if he wanted to work for Blizzard as an associate video editor. He said yes, and his first project was for patch 1.12, which featured the PvP towers in the Eastern Plaguelands. He would later work on site at South Park to help in the creation of their WoW-centric episode.
Oh, there we go.
Roll over him with your mouse cursors! And right click!
That's so good. That's so good. Oh my god.
And Taryn's first big project was the Black Temple patch trailer. And if the unique process of WoW Machinima interests you, I highly recommend checking out the Building Azeroth episode on the Warcraft channel because it's filled with fascinating stuff.
I remember when we were putting this shot together, just how tricky it was, because there were a lot of different layers and characters and effects going on with his wings and transparency and the shadow. But we didn't have a lot of advanced tools. And I actually taped cellophane onto my monitor and I would draw kind of an outline around where Illidan was when he started and where he ended.
My gosh.
So just frame up the shot again and shoot it again with Kael'thas, again with Lady Vaj, and then the environment and then the character, and then hope it all comes together.
Lined
and
up,
it did.
yeah.
And it did.
While working at...
Dude, it's crazy to think, like, without all the tech, how they did it in the past. Just, like, kind of, like, tape on the monitor. Like, all right, I think it's around here. And it kind of worked. I mean, you look back and it kind of maybe was a little janky, but it kind of worked, especially for the time. And it's just like, wow, they were doing that, man.
At Blizzard, Taryn kept in contact with the Machinima community and traveled to Machinima events and helped organize a Machinima creator meeting at BlizzCon. I think Terran's most iconic work is the Wrathgate cinematic, which is not only a highlight for the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, but for the entire Warcraft universe.
The big scene with the dragons as they're laying down the red dragon fire, we needed dragon breath. Instead of doing it traditional composite methods, we ended up making a vehicle out of the fire on the ground. The pillar of fire breath would sit in the seat of the fire, and then the dragon would attach to the pillar of flame. And the whole thing was now a car. We would just drive around the battlefield, and it looked like a dragon strafing, when it was just this vehicle being piloted around.
Terran would continue to work on countless projects, some of my personal favorites being the Gilneas cinematic, the Siege of Orgrimmar cinematic, the Black Hand vs. Yrel scene, and the Junkertown cinematic for Overwatch. Terran
it's like so many of these things that you see and that are just like cool and or even not so cool, but you would never really like think twice about. When you see the history of it, it's just like jerry-rigged together. Can you say that? Is that a bad term? Like, you know, like janky. Like it's just like from the front end you would never know, but the people that built it, they know. You know, they know. And it's like to hear the stories of like how all of this was actually like all taped together. It's just like, whoa. From the outside, you would never know.
Terran is now the cinematic narrative director for World of Warcraft, and I couldn't think of anyone more deserving of the role, and has left a legacy within the World of Warcraft universe that started with a simple machinimated film that changed the direction of his life and the world of Azeroth as we know it. What I would consider to be the second generation of WoW Machinima creators are the channels that were making films between 2011 and 2018 roughly. These creators were influential in their own right and carried on the legacy of WoW Machinima, but who, in 2025, is still making WoW Machinima? Well, I'd like to shout out a couple of creators still making stuff.
Like
the Lost
Barney,
Codex
right?
is a WoW
Or is
lore
that a little
YouTube
different?
channel that creates storybook-style videos covering the history of the Warcraft universe told with an in-universe twist, and also has a great use of visual effects.
Our Emperor had a holy vision of a great battle, a clash between dark and light. We call it Renilash, the final battle.
Yeah, Wise Torin.
Gorak's Guide makes animated shorts focusing on classic WoW and animates all of the characters by hand, and has an incredible eye for slapstick comedy and pushing these ancient models to their limits.
Dude,
Sixten
what?
is a creator who
thinks of
recently
that?
started
That's
making video
crazy.
essays, getting into the weeds, discussing the methods of storytelling within World of Warcraft and the game's unique history, and has a great way of articulating complex ideas.
Because World of Warcraft isn't just a scrapbook of your best hits, it's a living, breathing world with its own special way of remembering its players. Let's explore all the weird nooks and crannies that a long-lived game like World of Warcraft creates.
Weed Elf is a machinimator and songwriter.
Hey, he shouts out Weed Elf. Let's go. There he is. I can't believe it. All right.
Who recently has been involved with the hardcore guild OnlyFangs and is keeping the genre of World of Warcraft rap alive.
There we go, dude.
And he also has this wonderfully made machinima
Ancient
called
Blunt.
Weed Quest, the Ancient Blunt.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what you'd expect.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're looking for an ancient magical blunt. Could you help us find it?
Yeah. I haven't had kush like this since Medivh's tower party back in Karazhan.
And of course,
bro, when I met Weed Elf on Moonguard, I was just walking through the city and he kind of came up and he was like, "Champion, I need your help." And he took me on this whole custom quest all throughout Azeroth, and we were flying around all these old zones, and we had to go to different pipes to do different quest objectives, so to speak. And dude, he basically took me on that whole video's like journey in game. It was so cool, man. This was like when I was on Moonguard, like right before War Within on the Xaryu roleplay character. I think that was what, like 8 months ago now. It was a blast.
Of course, we gotta mention Captain Grimm, another master of WoW Machinima production with handmade animations and a keen eye for physical
we made a video
comedy.
on it, yeah.
And there are just so many others, and some that I'm sure I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
And additionally, over the past 20 years of World of Warcraft history, there are so many other prolific videos and creators that I can talk about, but this video is already getting really, really long. Like, I didn't even...
Barney, I mean, would you guys call Barney videos machinima? Because I feel like my gut instinct says yes, but I guess it is a little different. I mean, it's not a music video, that's for sure, but it's a story. It's there's fighting scenes towards the end. Yeah, I wonder why he's not mentioning Barney, because I mean, it's like kind of more, I mean, it's story driven, but it's also just like gameplay and it's being commentated over.
Mention Spiff World, who's my favorite WoW Machinima creator of all time and my biggest inspiration to get into the space. And I'd love it if you went into the comments and said what your favorite WoW Machinima is, whether I mentioned it in this video or not. This video is a work of passion to tell the history of the art form, and I'd love if the comment section reflected that. And what if you, dear viewer, wanted to get into making WoW Machinima? Well, I can recommend a couple resources to you. There's currently a version of WoW Model Viewer compatible with the War Within, but the Battle for Azeroth version is far more stable. You can join the WoW Model Viewer Discord, and there will be some very helpful people that can help you get started. There's also an add-on called Narcissus that you can use to green screen WoW characters, and there's this other add-on called Scene Machine that is some crazy black magic shit that allows you to make scenes in 3D spaces and animate the camera, and it's actually unbelievable.
Holy
And of
crap.
course, OBS is the simplest way to record and capture your gameplay. All of the tools are here for you to get started. In fact, I couldn't think of a better time to get started because you have 10 expansions worth of assets that you can use. You want a scene in a swamp? Boom, swamp. We have so many different types of swamps that you can go to. You want a scene in the mountains? We got so many different zones in the mountains. Want a certain type of house? We got a lot of different types of houses that you can make a film in.
True.
Do you want a chair in your house? We got a million different types of chairs. So many chairs. There are so many assets in this game, it has inadvertently turned it into like a Microsoft 3D movie maker from the 90s.
Huh,
like
that's
the
crazy,
world
yeah.
is at your fingertips here, and you don't need to make a single asset to make a cohesive movie. Am I the only one that thinks this is crazy?
Yeah, it's actually that actually is pretty cool.
In the early
coming from
days
that
of
perspective.
Machinima, it was seen as its own specific art form to make music videos, short stories, and films. But now we're in 2025, and the way people consume content
There we go. We made it on the video. Let's see.
in films.
Mom, I'm famous.
But now
we got Max,
we're in 2025.
Hazel, Bajira.
And the way people
Blizzard has never done anything like this before. 5 hours from Xaryu. In response to the DDoS attacks. We just put this up like last week, which means this was filmed like last week.
people consume content online is vastly different than what it was back then. Nowadays, Machinima could potentially be your full-time job, but the algorithm-based consumption of content online pushes creators away from making films and instead making more recognizable YouTube videos.
Hey, there's
That isn't to say Machinima is dead. Rather, it has the ability to take a new form and bleed into other content for the game, like class guides, video essays, lore videos, and news updates. So while what we
I was gonna say like Bellular and Platinum and like some of these guys, they have like Machinima in their videos when they're talking about lore, for example. You wouldn't really call it Machinima because it's not like a story. They're talking about lore, but you can tell that they use Model Viewer to animate what they're talking about, right? Taliesin and Evil, who else? Like there's like multiple YouTubers that do that, and that's a pretty cool like implementation of it because people are coming for the news, they're coming for the updates, and then you gotta get to see something kind of cool and unique in the background.
Recognized as old school Machinima may be lost to time, the art form can innovate into the type of content that is consumed today. And for the past 20 years, World of Warcraft Machinima has become an iconic part of the game's player culture, blending creativity with in-game mechanics to craft compelling works of art. And it's through this creativity, players have
yeah.
fundamentally changed the legacy of World of Warcraft. Not only this, WoW Machinima has made a lasting impact, leaving a notable mark on the early days of video sharing websites on the internet as a whole, and even to this day, there is still a community of Azerothian filmmakers, turning the world into a canvas for their creativity. And I think that's pretty neat.
Wow, this video gave me like a newfound perspective on all of this. I never really thought that deep about any of this. A WoW Machinima documentary. Absolute banger. Absolute banger. I'm glad we spent the time to watch that. Damn. We'll have to let the credits roll through. A lot of people in this vid. We need a link? Yeah. All right, for everyone that watched that with me, here's the link. It was in my Reddit. I skipped it yesterday because it's 52 minutes. Definitely worth the watch. It's Platinum WoW's video here. The internet's forgotten art form, WoW Machinima. It's a really cool perspective. Really, really cool perspective on a lot of this stuff. And now I feel like I need to go back and watch like half of these videos. So yeah, that'll be what's up next. I feel like I need to rewatch Tales of the Past for sure. And then I feel like I need to watch Illegal Danish for the first time. I've never actually seen that. At least those two. Although he was saying that they're just completely riddled with copyright music because that's how the internet was back then. So I could also watch them off stream. We'll see. Yo, guys, I haven't said thank you to any subs for this last like hour. Thank you guys for subbing. I've been watching a video for the past hour. Should we just do one quick? Thank you to Rain, to Evo, to Hecking, Clicking Boomer, Jitter. Thanks for the primes, guys. Average Joe Runner, Twin13 Gaming with a tier 1. We got OJ West with a Twitch Prime, Ovidius with a Prime, God of War with a tier 1. I think and Kai saying thanks too for all the subs. I think he was saying thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for the support, guys. There we go. We're like 2.5 hours into the stream. We're gonna cut reacts there because I need to farm honor. Because I need to actually play the game if we're gonna make it to rank 12 this week. Okay, and then we'll do some more reacts tomorrow.